Happy Valentine's Day. Hey, what's more romantic than a chocolate and a beer?
Fat Tire's been an iconic beer for decades. Now they changed the label on the liquid. We'll tell you if it tastes as good.
From well-crafted beer at Ambler Yards, along with Andrew Colligan, I'm Glen Macnow for a new episode of What's Brewing?
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Maker's Passport. Download your free digital pass and sip your way through Montgomery County. By the Conshohocken Brewing Company, featuring 4 locations and available at beer retailers throughout the tri-state area. By Visit Bucks County. Travel the Bucks County Ale Trail. Get your passport at visitbuckscounty.com. And by support from the Pennsylvania Malt and Brewed Beverage Industry Promotion Board and grant funding from the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing. This is my pal Andrew Colligan, head of sales at Conshohocken Brewing. I'm Glen Macnow. We are at the well-crafted beer at Ambler Yards, a member of Monco Makers, one of our favorites. It's Valentine's Day, and thus I am drinking their Wolf Pajamas Imperial Stout. What are you starting with?
I'm starting with their Naked Gosa. Perfect for Valentine's Day.
You wish. Okay. Because it's Valentine's Day, the question is, can beer be romantic? I'm going to give you this, and then you're going to answer the question. This is the Pipeworks Cherry Gotcha Covered Imperial Stout with cherries, pretzels, vanilla, and cocoa nibs. Sounds pretty romantic to me. Here, let me give you some of this. This is the high-octane one, my friend.
Very nice.
Coming in at 11%.
How about that?
All right, let's give this a try. Tell me what you think.
Sweet, chocolatey. I think it'd be perfect on Valentine's Day.
They brewed it. The brewer says, this is out of, I think, Chicago. We brewed this beer with pounds and pounds of real Snyder pretzels in the mash. Pretzels came through with a nice, subtle, salty flavor to the chocolate and the cherries. I like it, actually.
I think it's quite good.
A lot of cherry. What'd you bring me?
I brought you a couple to show you real quick. So this is a special beer that I made for my wedding. So it's an actual barley wine I brewed for my wedding day.
That is romantic.
And gave it out to guests.
Wait, how long have you been married?
Coming up on 5 years now, so. It's going to last a while, hopefully, just like the old wedding. The old marriage.
The marriage will last and the beer.
Oh, man, for decades.
Okay, good.
The next one, Piton, the official beer of St. Lucia, where we had our honeymoon. So beer can be romantic.
That's very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Harkens back to some fantastic memories. What I really wanted to share with you was the Lindemans 200th anniversary blend with the original young couple that started Lindemans Brewery. This was basically an anniversary of them when they started their marriage and started this 200-year-old brewery.
Wow, that's very nice. Okay, I also brought you this KBS Chocolate Cherry Stout. That's a good one for the holiday. And this one, my friend, the Yeti Chocolate Raspberry Imperial Stout. A little bit of a theme there. So, people tend to think of Valentine's Day wine and roses and not beer. Can we say that beer can be romantic?
Absolutely. I think beer can be just as romantic as any other liquid out there that you're going to consume on a nice fancy dinner.
All right, well, let me just tell you, my friend Joe Sixpack kind of disagreed. I'm going to tell you what he had to say about this. He said, studies have found that hops, particularly in IPAs, get their signature bitter flavor from a plant-based form of estrogen known as phytoestrogen that can cause men to develop man boobs.
Oh no.
Known as brewer's droop. Well, that's not romantic. On the other hand, let me try this again. A study found beer can make you a better lover. Tell this one to your wife. According to sex and relationship expert Dr. Kat Van Kirk, love that name, those same phytoestrogens give men more stamina, making them last longer. Certain dark beers like Guinness or this, where's my Wolf beer? There you go. That, I'm going to take some of that home, makes you less sluggish during intimacy because the beer's vitamins and minerals form higher levels of good stuff. What do you think?
I guess that 12-pack's going to go a long way this weekend then.
Well, there you go. pairings with beer for Valentine's Day. What do you think?
Beautiful thing about beer is that it pairs with just about anything. So as opposed to wine, which you might have to choose 1 or 2 different items, you can find a beer that'll pair with anything. Think maybe aphrodisiacs. Oysters, anybody? Oyster stout?
Hello, good stuff. And they did a great thing here at Well Crafted, which is all week long they've been running this special of these 4 beers, and I can't tell you what each of them in, but a nice flight with the chocolates, and like that's a great thing, right?
Beer, chocolate, romance. Yeah, that sounds like a great Valentine's Day to me.
One more thing from my friend Joe Sixpack, because we're checking in with him in a little bit, and he said, here's the thing about Valentine's Day. You skip the beer because they conveniently scheduled Valentine's Day mid-February so that you can atone for burning a cigar hole in the couch during the Super Bowl and lay the necessary groundwork for your indiscretions on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, don't have anything to know. I don't know anything about that.
You know what? I would disagree, and I think we should enjoy these. By the way, we've been running something on the show this year, and we invite you to submit your favorite home video about beer, anything fun that you're doing, drinking, trying, sharing, whatever. And this one, let me find her name. I lost it. Gabby Stalla. There you go. Gabby is not an IPA fan, as you see. I'll give her credit because she tries it, but she makes that bitter beer face every time. Gabby, you win a $25 gift card to Conshohocken Brewing. Good work by you. Submit yours. You can send them right to me at Real Glen Macnow on Twitter or at What's Brewing PA, also on Twitter, and we'd love to hear from you. All right, coming up, they rebranded, I guess, one of the iconic craft beers, Fat Tire Amber Ale. Andrew Colligan and I are both going to give it a try and tell you is the new better than the old. We're at Well Crafted Beer at Ambler Yards. Andrew Colligan, Glen Macnow for What's Brewing.
So we went to this place called Bucks County for vacation. There was so much to do. We played games, rode on a train, and visited Kids Castle. I went on rides, water slides, and got to hang with Elmo at Sesame Place. We hiked to this huge boulder field called Ringing Rocks. Oh, and I got to meet a pilot. That was so cool. You gotta go.
Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing with Andrew Colligan. I'm Glen Macnow with the Well Crafted Beer Company at Ambler Yards, part of Montco Makers in the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. This is an amazing beer I'm trying. This is the Coco Caliente Imperial Stout, Mexican Chocolate Stout. A lot of pepper in this baby. I love this beer.
Nice little bit of heat there. I'm having the Colonel Forbin, West Coast style IPA.
Nice.
My
Very
favorite.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of big news here. One of the iconic beers in the craft beer industry has been New Belgium's Fat Tire for years, right?
Yeah, for decades.
Give me a little bit of like its background and its popularity.
Out of Colorado, it was something that people all over the country were looking for, but couldn't always get. And then just in the last couple of years, finally made its way to the Philadelphia region. And yeah, now it looks like they might be changing a little bit.
So sales have been falling.
Hey, for an amber lager, it's I guess viewed as a little bit more old school and classic.
Yes,
you know?
and they want to reach the millennials, and so they rebranded the whole thing. I got an old and a new.
Sure.
Let's bring them out.
Like you and me, maybe.
Thank you. We're going to try these, okay? So
Sure.
here you go. This
is
is
the-
the original.
Absolutely. Classic amber lager,
Okay.
maybe other than Yingling, the most classic amber
So
lager
what's
in the
wrong
country.
with the word amber?
I think it's just kind of for your new age drinker, it makes them think of maybe what their dad or maybe their grandpa drank, and they want something a little bit new, something a little bit different.
I'm sorry, I'm pouring these things with way too much head, but
I'll
there
tell you
go.
what, you can even look at it right there. Just look at the color difference.
Oh yeah, look
Yep.
at, see, but I like the, to me, the amber's got the body. All right, so this is the original. Here we go.
Cheers.
I like it.
One of the best of all time.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a really nice classic beer. I love it. It was refreshing, crisp.
A little bit sweetness to it. Yeah, you get that malty, bready, biscuity notes from that nice darker grains there that they're using.
All right,
Fantastic.
here we go. This is the new.
Night and day difference. Lighter, maybe goes down a little bit easier, but definitely doesn't have that full body and character and
Right?
flavor.
They dumbed it down.
Hey,
They dumbed it down. It's not as good. They made a mistake. By the way, this is the new, it's funny because the new can, what is this can? It reminds me of a PBR.
It looks old. Yeah, the new old can is
Right?
old and new and
This
retro.
This is the original. I don't know if they totally went from bottles to cans, but this is what I found. By the way, thanks to my friend Jim Martin, Lower Merion Beverage Company, who was able to find both the old and the new.
The best.
This is what people are saying. People are not happy. Okay, well, the old devotees of it are not happy.
People don't like change.
Yes, me. So here's what they wrote on Threads. Fat Tire devotees said they compared it to Taco Bell's Mexican pizza or the McRib, two disasters, by the way, saying that the reformulation is a publicity stunt to make drinkers crave the original recipe. Do you remember when they brought out the new Coke?
No.
Well,
but
I
I've
do.
heard people
And they
talk
brought
about
out, they had Coke, and then they changed to new Coke, and nobody liked the new Coke, and then they brought back the old Coke, and people said, like, that was the trick all along. That's what they're doing. This, where is it? Good beer. This, slime. You tell me.
Slime might be a little bit harsh, but I will say personally, after drinking both of them, hey, I love that classic.
Yeah,
Amber
well, I'm
Latte.
sticking with my Coco Caliente. Okay. Next topic. Kind of along the same lines. After 30 years, Rogue has shifted Dead Guy Ale. Again, iconic craft beer.
One of the first I've ever had personally. Yeah.
Okay. It is now Dead Guy IPA. Now, you know I'm a huge IPA guy.
Of course.
But nonetheless, it seems like the old style was like a Malbec kind of amber, again, an amber ale.
Yeah.
And now it's an IPA. Are breweries totally leveraging all of their brands to be IPAs? Is that what happened?
They are the three magic letters that everybody is chasing. So IPA, India Pale Ale is, let's call it 40 to 60%, some estimates, of every craft beer sold locally in the entire country. Everyone is chasing that IPA.
Okay, now I look behind me at this board here at Well Crafted. Credit to them. First of all, credit. They got 15 beers on tap.
Which is awesome.
Awesome. Everyone we tried so far, awesome. And I think, 6 of the 15 are IPAs.
Maybe only 5.
Maybe only 5, okay. So they got Saisons up there, they got a Gauche up there, they got Stouts up there, they got all kinds of things. Conshohocken Brewing Company, you're the chief of sales. What are we doing?
People are pushing back, and especially those that work at breweries like Well Crafted and like Conshohocken Brewing Company. We're trying to bring back that diversity of styles that was prevalent in the 90s and the 2000s when everyone fell in love with craft beer. Not everything has to be an IPA. You can make some wide, varying array of styles that hopefully appeals to everybody, and hopefully appeals to newer, younger drinkers too.
And I think what's happening with Rogue and with Fat Tire is they're discovering maybe out of the brewery, out in the stores, people are buying the IPAs. When they come in, maybe they want a little more variety.
Absolutely, and especially it depends on what that person is looking to drink. If they're looking to eat food and pair it with a beer, there's so many different options out there. Why only have all IPAs when you can have all the hundreds and thousands of other beautiful styles made around the
All right, one more thing I wanted to mention to you. They found a 9,000-year-old beer in China, at a burial site in Quo Tao. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Archaeologists unearthed ceramic vessels, these long neck, round bronze pots, like people have used to make alcohol for centuries, and it contained fossilized plant remains from rice tubers and a plant called Job's Tears that they used to make beer with. So my question to you is, 9,000-year-old beer, would you?
I'm not sure if I'd be dying to get it like those guys, but hey, who knows?
Hey, they found it. I would try it.
9,000 years old, sure. Why
Yeah,
the
it's
heck
made
not,
it that long, it's not going to hurt
Hey,
you.
you only live once.
All right, that's good stuff. All right, coming up, we're going to check in with our pal Joe Sixpack, find out what's going on with him, which we are really looking forward to. We're at the Well Crafted Beer Company in Ambler Yards with Andrew Colligan. I'm Glen Macnow on What's Brewing. Hey, it's Glen Macnow here with Andrew Colligan, genius and chief bottle washer at the Conshohocken Brewing Company, here to show us what's hot for 2023.
Our lead dog, Type A IPA, citrus and grapefruit, 7% West Coast IPA.
Love this one. It's coming home with me. What's next?
Life Coach, our hazy IPA, our fastest growing brand, juicy and citrusy, perfect for any hazy IPA.
And very crushable. Keep going.
Ring the Bell, our American lager, crisp, clean, easy drinking, tastes especially good down the gate.
No better way to celebrate a win. And
Backpack beer, our Belgian style wheat, light, refreshing, and approachable. Throw a couple backpacks in your backpack.
I'm gonna go take a hike. Finally?
Butler's Row, our classic ESB, proud to make maybe one of the best English ales in the country. Philly loves an underdog, support your local brewery and watering hole.
It's a beautiful sentiment. All these available at Conshohocken Brewing locations or wherever great beer is sold. Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing from Well Crafted Brewery in Ambler. I'm going to talk to my pal Joe Sixpack, who is in northern France. I don't know what you do over there in northern France in February. What happens over there?
It can get pretty chilly, but the wine, they're doing wine previews. You know how you had the flower show back in Philly? They have like wine shows here to come out with the new varieties.
People ask me all the time, Joe Sixpack moved to France. It's really more wine than beer. Does he like wine? Like, where are you in terms of the wine scene?
Yeah, there is a lot of wine in France, but I'm in Brittany, which is really still beer country. Beer and cider are way more popular here than the wine. I'm drinking a stout here. This is a really nice beer from the Aerofab Brewery. So we do get a good share of beer and not wine here.
All right. Well, today we're doing a Ask Joe Sixpack segment, and some of these calls have come from our viewers, and it's mostly about glassware. So I want to kind of go through some of this. One of them is, why do mugs have dimples? And if you can see this one, hold on, I got some beer to pour here. I don't know if I have enough. Hold on, I'm going to do a little magic here. I've only got this one beer. Should have asked for more. But you can see the dimples, you can see it. Why do these have these dimples?
You know, this is the kind of question that you ask yourself late at night.
Yeah, on the
You've
fifth
had like
one.
6 of those mugs, Glenn, and you're thinking, why do they have these dimples?
Yes, why?
It's a basic reason. It's so that when you wash the mug, that it doesn't slip out of your hand. It gives you a surface to grab on.
That's it. Well, sometimes the easiest answer is the real answer. Okay, well, let's try another one. Why do beer glasses have the dimple in the middle? Some of them have actual, this one kind of changes. Why do they have not the dimple, excuse me, the bump in the middle? Why do they have the bump in the middle?
It's a bump in the middle. There's a few reasons for that. The one is right in your hand there, Glenn. It makes it easier to hold on to the glass while you're drinking. I mean, this is, exactly. We're talking about high-level engineering here, Glenn, designed to make your beer drinking more easier and more fluid.
Okay.
But that's the one reason. The second reason is that when bartenders stack them together, they won't stick together. Those pint glasses are more like cocktail shakers. You've seen bartenders struggle with them before, where they all stick together when they stack them. Those will not stick together with that bump. So
by this logic, this must be why beer kegs also have the bump in the middle.
When you stack them, actually, that's to prevent them from banging your fingers when you, because if you hold at the top, they don't get close enough to bang your fingers, which is really, if you've ever moved beer kegs, that's like the worst injury in the world.
Yes, I can imagine that. All right, I'm feeling really stupid, but you go ahead.
All right. One other reason for those glasses that way, the bump in the middle, is that when they fall, they won't chip. They supposedly won't chip the rim of the glass, and that's why those glasses are often referred to as no-nick glasses.
Okay, well, that makes sense. All right, I got one more. I was drinking out of my lovely Guinness glass the other night, and I'm kind of looking at it, and it's got all these markings on it. Let me see. 0.5 L, I'm guessing that's the size, right?
Half a liter.
Okay, and then it says CE. What's the CE?
Okay, CE is the common use now. Beer drinkers, and I know our viewers, have probably seen beer glasses with a crown on it. And that crown meant that it had been measured by the British government as a full 20-ounce pint. Pints in Britain, by the way, are 20 ounces. But with the use of the European Union, they changed that. The Brits replaced that symbol with the letters CE, which is standard across Europe now. C stands for Conformity European. So it's French, and it means that it has been measured by somebody to, in this case, equal a half a liter.
Boy, I thought it was a much more interesting story than that, but there you have it. This one doesn't have a crown, of course. The Guinness has a harp on it, which
right.
You know, it maybe makes more sense.
Right.
Okay, well, there you go. Everything you wanted to know about glassware, I suppose. Joe Sixpack, give me one more thing about what you're drinking over there in France.
Well, this is a brewery. I'm going to show you a bottle. I haven't poured it yet today. That I think folks in Philly would be really interested in, called Philomene. It's owned by a woman who is a really fantastic brewer up in northern Brittany, and she's making a really unusual variety of beers. This one that I just showed you is made with peat, and it has a really big smoky flavor that I absolutely love. It's a rare beer in France that would be made with peat. I guess they're getting it from Scotland. I don't know, but there are women brewers here in France, which is pretty cool.
Nice, very nice. Sounds more like some scotches I've had. Well, I'm going to focus on my Pennsylvania beers coming up because we're coming back to Well Crafted Brewery in Ambler. Joe Sixpack, we'll see you next week. Enjoy.
Fantastic, Glenn. Great to see you.
Welcome back. We're at Well Crafted Beer in Ambler Yards, one of Montco makers. I am having this nice hazy IPA, the Hop Monger. What are you starting with?
I'm starting with this guy right here.
Well, you lost yours, didn't you? So we have to make him another. That's okay, because we're here with Doug Bellinger, who's the owner of this here joint, and we want to talk to you about one of your beers, which is unique, the Blonde Americano. It's not just a blonde ale.
No.
What is this, baby, and why aren't we yet drinking?
Yeah, get a sip of that.
Thank
But
you.
we brewed it, so we drank. So, so this is a brainchild of our amazing brewer, Rick. So this is a blonde ale that we condition on whole bean coffee and add vanilla to afterwards. So
now, I've had coffee ales. I've certainly had coffee stouts. We made a coffee IPA at Conshohocken Brewing one time. This is really different. This is much more coffee and vanilla. What's going on here?
yeah, the beer itself also has lactose in it, but it's really smooth. We actually, in our Lansdale location, put it on nitro as well, and we have a couple of accounts outside that do it. So it just gives it a really good flavor. What's also awesome about it is we can make variants on it. So we have a gingerbread version of it, we have a pumpkin spice version,
nice.
and we have an Irish potato one coming soon. So
You guys are regular Dunkin' Donuts. I
Hey,
think I
yeah.
could drink. I literally believe I could start the day with this at 7 o'clock.
nobody would judge you for that.
Well, somebody in my house might, but nonetheless.
Can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
That's true.
And usually using local beans from Backyard Beans, too.
Yeah, so Backyard Beans is in Lansdale. They're also over here in Ambler. They've been a partner of ours since the very beginning. We've learned a ton from them, and we get beans from them every time we brew it. So
Keep it local coffee, local beer.
it's got vanilla syrup right in it, which gives it a little bit of sweetness, but not too much.
it's just enough to give you that like easy drinking flavor, and we sell a ton of this because of the fact that it just has all the right notes and it's creamy. Like it's not not very harsh. It's creamy. So.
Yeah.
8 a.m. tailgates, getting ready for a 1 o'clock game.
Yeah, there you go.
Coffee ale. I think this is absolutely fantastic. Just, thinking about this outside the box. You think coffee, you think stouts, you think porters, but having a really, obviously light appearance beer, but to get that really deep, rich flavor of the coffee and very little bitterness too. So this is almost like a coffee with cream and 2 sugars in it.
All right, Doug, let's talk a little bit about the operation here. You've got the place in Lansdale, which is
Yep.
at?
It's at 310 Madison Street.
Okay.
And we're in the basement. So I was telling him earlier, like everything we do over there is in the basement.
Okay. And
Grain,
you got
kegs.
this place over at Ambler Yards, which is good, but a little tricky to find. Give people kind of little clues here.
Yeah, so we're about a mile outside of town. So you kind of head down Spring Garden, Main Street area, and then we're on Brookside Ave. We're actually putting up some new signage this year so that everybody will be able to find us. But we have a nice beer garden out front, and there's a ton of parking up top. So if you're trying to find a brewery with parking, we're right up
That's
there.
always
So,
a good thing. Yeah.
And plans for distribution and growth, I hear. So what do you got planned?
So we, one of the fun adventures of brewing in a basement is that we've been working out of an elevator for 4 years now, where every grain and every keg has to go up and down it. So we acquired this location last year because it has loading docks, it has space for additional tanks. So we just actually been working with Ambler Savings Bank, and we're going to be putting in 4 20-barrel tanks here,
That's awesome.
an additional 7-barrel tank here, and then a brand new water filtration system here. So one of the reasons we do so well on the quality side is because we dial in the water of every single batch we make and try to make sure that we, own it. So,
Less subterranean operations moving forward.
exactly. Yes, and now we'll be able to pull a truck up and put a pallet in a truck.
there you go.
It's so totally different.
That
So-
helps.
So, Doug, very creative beer list, as we said. You guys got a lot going on, not just IPAs and not just this. Give me one of the more unusual beer. I don't want to say unusual, unique, whatever. Different styles of beer you make that you're
I
proud
don't
of.
know if we got it up here. We do, actually. We've got our Gone Squatchin', which, this is an an alder smoked amber ale. So this is one that Brick brews because he loves the smoked one. So we actually work with Deer Creek on this one. And just really smoky, but also easy to drink beer, something you can sit by the fire on. So we've done it for a couple of years. This year's gotten the most attention. So, we put it out in
Apparently
both.
Andrew's interested.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, no, go for it.
With smoky beers, people tend to either love them or hate them. Sure. I'm usually in the second category. Nonetheless, I'm going to give it a try.
I'll tell you what, they're extremely unique, obviously a little bit different flavor than almost any other beer style because of that smoke. But hey, listen, bourbon, barbecue, everybody loves everything smoked nowadays. Why not have a smoked beer to go along with it?
All right, before we get out of here, you have a very fun event coming up right away. What do you got?
We have our Flamingo Bonito Festival. So Flamingo Bonito is one of our sour beers we brew. It's a kettle sour. We brew it with raspberry and lactose. And we felt like it was time for us to throw a little beach party. So Flamingo Bonito Festival will be in our Lansing location on February 18th.
Nice. Beach, February.
It'll
That,
be, and also at our Ambler location, it'll be at both. Wear your Hawaiian shirt, come on out and enjoy it.
That's it. That sounds
Beautiful.
fantastic.
All right, real quick, hours of operation.
Yeah, so at this location, we're open Wednesday through Sunday. We're open from, but they're all over the place, 4 to 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Then Saturdays and Sundays, we're open from noon and 1 o'clock on. And then Lansdale location, we're open for, also around those same hours. We're open on Tuesday too.
Doug Bellinger, we have had a magnificent time here today, enjoying your full array of beers. Thank you so much for having
Thanks,
us.
guys. Cheers.
Andrew Colligan, thank you for being my co-host. We'll be back next week with an all-new episode of What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Maker's Passport. Download your free digital pass and sip your way through Montgomery County. By the Conshohocken Brewing Company, featuring 4 locations and available at beer retailers throughout the tri-state area. By Visit Bucks County. Travel the Bucks County Ale Trail. Get your passport at visitbuckscounty.com. And by support from the Pennsylvania Malt and Brewed Beverage Industry Promotion Board and grant funding from the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board.